All you want to think about are 3 areas while you're out training and racing, let's call it. Think about 3 levers. Fluid, which we all know we need to drink. We all agree on that as well. There's some sodium that needs to be some way brought into this equation, whether it's from your food. There's a little bit of sodium in the water you drink. And then we all agree that you need some fuel, which majority of the time is carbohydrate driven in events. So there's kind of this 3 lever approach. Muscular bigger guy, what are you, 90 kgs?
A bit more than that now.
Okay.
95, yeah.
Okay, 95 kilos. So by default, your sweat rate, more muscle mass, is just going to be volume of sweat rate higher than small KTR. So that's just, doesn't mean that you have to have different bottles necessarily of concentration. It just means the volume based on your duration needs to be addressed. But if I just keep getting you to drink a lot of water, there's a saturation point. So the sugar helps transport salt back into the bloodstream really fast. An energy drink with 6% carbohydrate with a little bit of sodium and some fancy names.
Yes.
It does great over 90 minutes of exercise, a rugby game, the kids' football. It's quick sugars. Most of them don't have really any sodium in them because they're not trying to be a hydration drink. So people get into bother when they do 2, 3, 4 hours maybe. They start to be drinking that. They get the palate, the sick fatigue of sweetness. We're in with people that. And you just stop drinking. You just want water. What that then does, it disrupts your blood plasma, which is your sodium levels. And that can lead to some problems. Some people cramp. I'm not saying that everyone will cramp. Some people get nausea, gut, they want to vomit. Some people just don't want to take any more fluids, and then the energy drops because they're not taking on board. If you're just doing an hour and a half, poodle around the lanes, water's fine. Absolutely, even if it's hot, you'll sweat a lot more. We don't always need electrolytes. When you're doing indoor stuff, you have a vast amount of fluid in a quick, short space of time. When you are trying to rapidly rehydrate, this has its place. When you're doing double sessions a day, so 2, not many cyclists will do that, but certainly people I work with do 2 sessions a day, sometimes 3. You have to stay on top of things. Whatever you're drinking in your bottle is hydrating you, and everything you're taking from your pockets is giving you fuel. And you adjust that based on that sun, based on how hard you're working, climbing for 20 Ks up a hill versus just climbing for 500 meters and back down again. Or chatting away with your wife on an easy ride, you're not going to sweat a lot. You don't need all the carb. Dryness in the throat. Look at your pee color quickly. Okay, it's easier for males, but pay attention. Are you super dark when you wake up? Do you feel like brain fog, death? Okay, so potentially is hydration from yesterday's exercise. What did I do? I did an hour on my spin class. And I rushed out and did the dogs. And I had a couple of cups of coffee and some tea and maybe a glass of water. That's not adequate enough for maybe the stage in your life.
In terms of long distance, the most recent thing I did was going around we did the coast to coast, so it was 620 miles in 5 days.
Nice.
I fed every 15 miles.
Okay, so every hour-ish.
Yeah, every hour-ish, yeah.
Which is good. It's a real low intensity day where it's about energy conservation, not about winning a race. So you want to do it as easy as possible, burning through as least amount of fuel because you want to feel better. You want to feel as good as you can by the end, and then you've got to get up and do it again. 5 days. What's quite nice about this chat is you guys aren't competing. You are just doing this for life and fitness. So your take homes are slightly different to someone doing events and where they're performance related. But you see the context is everything. So you asked me a great question, can I just use some orange juice and Himalayan salt? Absolutely. There's a sugar delivery, there's carbohydrate, there's some real minerals. I'm glad you're quite different. So you bang in the middle of averages 950, and that's the averages are there.
Watch your hand.
Where Rob's 655. So you're a third less, but you might, let's just say you lose a litre an hour of sweat. It will be more than that. So working quite hard on the bike. Kate might only lose about 400 or 500 mils of sweat on the same ride. So obviously her relative loss is half yours in terms of volume. Yes, Kate needs a little bit more salt than you, generally speaking, like for like, 1 litre, 1 litre. But depending what exercise you're wearing, what fitness level you're in, that state, what clothing you're wearing, are you on the front of the pack, are you sitting in the back cruising in the same ride, your heart rate's so much lower. So you see context is everything. So your take homes from here is both of you need a little bit of help with electrolytes. Kate needs to think about it if your hours go up a bit more. Unless you're having water and you haven't exercised, you've maybe gone to the gym. like you guys do, I know your 30, 45 minute whatever sessions. Yes, you're sweating there, but it's not a large volume that you're sweating. You're talking 2 to 3 hours is a large volume. Bit of salt in your food, which is fine. You don't need any fancy electrolytes. If you're feeling a bit brain foggy and feel like you're wanting to grab carbohydrate snacks and caffeine potentially, but you know you're not going to do that, that potentially could be hydration. What you want to try achieve here is not try replace like for like. So that's your goal with hydration. Never go, oh shit, I'd lose 2 liters. And you try drink 2 liters now, it's actually impossible. So good rule of thumb, advice you want to give anyone riding your bike, try and get 50% of your losses.